Hello everyone! Hi paint partiers! This is Liza from Liza's Paint Parties. It is about 3 minutes to 2, and so we're going to be starting very soon on our live painting today. This week we had 3 really nice options of some beautiful sunsets and sunrises, and we had one winner out of the bunch. It was the one that we called Sunset Swing by the Lake. So this is the photo that we are going to be using as a reference and painting from today. This photo is from a Facebook group site called View from My Window. They have really nice pictures that people have posted from all over the world, and it's a really nice source of inspiration. So if you guys are looking for any extra things for your own creative ventures, I strongly suggest it. I'm actually not affiliated with them at all, even though I've used them like a few times. But they're, yeah, really nice pictures there. So I see some of you guys are jumping on, so feel free to say hi, let me know where you're at. I'm in Ajax, Ontario, which is just outside of Toronto, and it's really hot. So I put a fan in this room, which if anyone else is in a room, we have air conditioning too, but I don't know about you guys, but air conditioning on my top floor is never the same as like any other floor of our house. So I have a fan going on in the background, so I apologize for that noise. Hopefully you can still hear me okay. Oh, hi Jamie. Oh, you're in that group too. Yeah, that group's an awesome group. So the View from My Window is really great, really inspirational. So what I'm doing is I'm just gonna get some of our stuff ready to go here. So I have my palette, I have my canvas board. I'll switch up the camera so you guys can see my canvas a lot clearer in a little bit. I have my paintbrushes ready to go as well. So I have like a fine point, a fatter brush, and like a medium in relation to my canvas size. My canvas size that I'm using today is 11 by 14. So it's a canvas board. Oh, thank you, Jamie. So you can hear me fine. Perfect. Thank you so much for letting me know that. I appreciate that. Awesome. Hi, Karen. You're in Bridgeton, just outside of Peterborough. Fantastic. Thank you. That's so good. Thanks for letting me know. That's great. Awesome. I've been to Peterborough a few times. It's really beautiful up there. And Trenton. Nice. Fantastic. Okay, great. Hi, Tanya. Oh, good. I'm glad you got on. Good. I just messaging Tanya before this event, so this is really great. Okay, cool. So I'm going to do a few things while we do this. So let's see how this camera is going to work out today. I'm going to move this a little bit. I also have my coffee beside me, so I'll try not to spill it or dip my paintbrush in it as we go. Outside of Philly. Oh, so cool. We got an American with us today. Look at that. That's really exciting. From Bethany. Awesome. Hi, Julianne. Alright, so I'm going to put my hair up just so it stays out of my way as I'm painting. And it's really hot, like I said. And we'll get started soon. So if you haven't already, grab a screenshot of the image, just so you can have it available. So I actually have my setup like this. So I have my canvas here and my computer with the images right there. So that's how I'm going to be working today. And then on the ground, basically, because I sit on the ground when I paint. I'm kind of weird. And I complain about my legs hurting after a while, but this is how I've done it forever. I'll have my paint and my paintbrushes and all that. So in terms of colors today, I always stick with the basics. So we have yellow and red. I have blue here too. With this painting, I don't think we're going to be using it, but it's here too. And I got my black and my white. I also have a pre-mixed orange as well that I might tap into just for sake of consistency and just ease for this tutorial. But if you only have the primary colors, you'll be fine to get this done. So yeah, so I'm going to get that going on my palette there. Hi Blanche from Aurora. Nice, thank you. Great. And I got a buddy in Oshawa there. Fantastic, my neighbor. And Annie from Calgary. Great, that's fantastic. I love it. I want to go to Calgary one day. one day. I have a few friends out that way now. It's getting some paint going on my canvas. So if any of you guys are also working in an area where you have to have a fan going, or if you're outdoors, your paint is going to dry pretty quickly. So just keep that in mind. If it's really hot, the paint likes to dry quickly. So you may just want to be thoughtful about how much you're putting onto your palette. So I still put a good amount because I want to get the background in, but I'll try to put less of some other colors too as we go. I want a little bit more yellow though. I'm going to be using that one. Okay, cool. So for the screenshot, so if you go to the previous post, the one that had the winning, when I said like which one was the winner, you can grab it from there. So just grab that, just like save it to your computer or to your phone and just have it available beside you. Unfortunately, I've tried to do this through my laptop, but the laptop doesn't connect properly with my internet, so I'm not able to have it on the same page. The picture, like I said, is just on the a previous post, the post from yesterday that announced the winner. So the picture's there, so just go and do like a save picture as, and then save it for you, so you can use that as reference. Okay, so let me just get this set up. All right, so there we go. And right now it is just past 2. So I also have my water container and I have paper towel with me as well. So for anyone who's new to acrylic, acrylic is a water-based paint. Water is our friend and it can also be our foe. So we can kind of go with the flow with that depending on how, what kind of techniques we want. Okay, so for this particular picture, I'm just gonna grab this again. I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to talk it through to you guys right now. So with this picture, it's beautiful. It's pretty straightforward. It's a sunset, and it has a nice water shot. So we're going to get all the background in first. We're going to start with the sky. The sky, you want to take a look to see where you want your horizon to be. So in this particular picture, I'll try to stay true to it pretty much. If you guys want to change it up or want to change the colors, please do whatever you want to do with it. It's your painting. But I'm going to try and stick kind of true to the vibe of it. I'm not going for it to be exactly like the picture. It's still going to be my impression of it. So that's what I would encourage you to do as well. With the painting, I'm going to start with, like just getting some of the yellows, and there's a bit of like grayness to it a bit in the sky. So we'll play with that a little bit. And it's interesting because it's really bright red. Normally it starts whenever you have like a sunset, or it'll have like some darker colors and then it'll kind of go into lighter, but it has a bit of a reverse going on here, so that's pretty cool. So we'll play with that. So let's just see where you guys want that horizon line to be, and we'll start off with the sky and we'll bring that horizon in. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is just to get a good coverage on the canvas is I'm going to get my water, I'm going to get my biggest brush, and I'm going to just wet the canvas. I'm not going to drench the canvas. You just want to get a little bit of water on there. And I'm going to bring it down to wherever I want my sky to start, that horizon line. So I'm going to bring it all the way down. If you're joining and you're like, I can't see the paint colors, it's because we're using water right now. I'm just putting just pure water on the canvas. And I gotta keep in mind, because this that fan is gonna dry everything way faster for me. So if you're in that kind of environment, your environment may affect how quickly the paint dries. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so I got my water on there. And now let's start putting color on. Right now, my concern is I just wanna get this covered with some semblance of what my background's gonna be. So I'm gonna go with the yellow, and I'm just going to put it in. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about all the different nuances of it just yet. I just wanna get yellow on my canvas. So I'm using pure yellow paint, and I'm just going right over what I just did. It really doesn't matter right now in terms of the strokes you're using. Okay, so I just want to cover it. I really enjoy acrylic. I like layering with it. I find that that brings in a lot more depth to the painting. And this is one of the, like, that's what I'm doing right now. Okay. So let's just get yellow all over. I'm gonna bring it right down to the horizon line. And I'm not gonna worry too much about how straight that line is or where it hits exactly, because we're still gonna be putting in the water afterwards. So this is just to get started and get this paint on here. Okay, so the reason why I put water on the canvas too is just makes it easier for me to get that paint all over faster. Other thing I'll remind you guys to do too as we're going through, especially if you're using an actual canvas versus a canvas board like what I'm using here, you want to paint the tops and the sides of it, especially if you're deciding that you want to hang it. Because right now you might forget about it, but then once you hang it up and then you look at the sides and they just look kind of weird and blotchy. I don't know how you guys are, but I'm a bit of a perfectionist and that really bothers me. So try to do that as you go too. If you're a little bit weird like I am. Okay, so I got that in. Okay, so now that I have this yellow and I have a nice base going on, I'm gonna start to build in some of the nuances of it. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab like a little dab of red, and right now I'm just playing with it to see what colors will come up. And there's a lot of brightness in this area of red. So I'm just gonna just put that right on top. Okay. And then I'm just bringing it up into the yellow, and then I'm just bringing it down to kind of just create already like some different values and different colors that are happening in here. So when you wet your canvas to start, this allows you to be able to blend it because the paint stays wet longer. Unless you have a fan going in your room, like I do. And it ends up being a little bit tricky. Okay, so I'm just gonna start putting in some of the red where I want some of the red. And I'm also doing this too because I'm trying to see how fast this paint's gonna dry, which is very fast for me. So I'm just gonna keep that in mind. Just gonna put some more water on here because it already dried up. I want it a little bit wet while I go through this process. So hopefully you won't have to do this part depending on the room that you're in, but I just needed to add a little bit to that. Okay, okay. So I want to get, so I want to start building up some of the darkness in here. So what I've done, I put water on here, and then on my brush is I got a little bit of black. My brush still had a lot of yellow and red on it, and I'm kind of brushing a little strokes into the sky right now to kind of start playing with a bit of that darkness in this part of the sky. And as I'm going, less and less paint is on my brush. So then it will allow me to blend it without like mixing everything into just like a glob of a color. And as you see, like I don't really rinse my brush like at all. I kind of just use the same brush a lot. I use the paper towel a lot to like get excess color off and stuff, but I don't really rinse it off fully unless I'm not going to use it for a while. And by doing this, it already kind of gives that idea of like, it already kind of makes it look cloudy-ish without intentionally trying to put clouds in it. I don't know if that made sense, but hopefully it did. So the brush I'm using is actually a brush I've had for years. This one is Dessert's It's a 10, so it's a thicker brush. The bristles are really, really thick. Sometimes this brush isn't very good because it kind of like pulls the paint off the canvas sometimes, but for what I'm doing right now, it works well. Yeah, that's the brush, and has really long handles, which is weird because I've already like smacked myself in the face by doing these demonstrations and almost knocked things over because I didn't really, it'd be nicer to have something with like a shorter handle, I think. Okay, so I'm liking this kind of vibe that's happening here. I want a little bit more orange, so I'm gonna mix some yellow and red together and see if it gives me what I want. And again, I'm not cleaning my brush when I'm doing this. I'm just like already mixing it again because my brush is already kind of clean. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put some streaks. And now my canvas is already dry again because of the freaking fan going on in here. And then I'm just gonna put some streaks on either side because you'll see that the yellow in the painting is very much along the middle. So I'm just gonna put in, it's very red. I need it to be a bit more yellow. So I'm gonna get some more yellow in there. Make it more orangey, shall we? Okay, and as I'm doing this, it's like my brush is pretty dry. So when I push this paint into here, it just kind of blends in, like I smush it in, because my painting's pretty dry already. And a little darker. So I'm just getting some of the paint that was on my brush already and I'm just like swishing it just to make it darker on the sides. I think I'm actually gonna switch brushes because I want it a little bit, I want a little bit more control over some of the fineness of it, I think. So we're gonna switch over to my medium size brush. So you can do the same if you want, but you don't have to. I'm gonna switch to my medium size brush, which is the same type of brush that I was just using, only it's a number 6. So it's the same kind of like, it's like a flat brush, same from Partiers as well. And the bristles are very thick, very hard. And this is the only time, so with my thick brush, I just like rinsed it off and I cleaned it off. So I always like to do that whenever I'm not gonna use a brush for a little while. Hey, Deborah. Oh, no worries, you're not late, don't worry. You can jump right in, or if you wanna wait until it's done and join the live watch it afterwards, they'll be available for everyone too, so that works out well. Either which way you want. It's all good. Just getting the background in. So all we did here is I just put yellow down to where I want my sky to live. And then what we did first, actually, sorry, we put a water base. We put water on there just to wet the canvas, then put yellow, and then put in some red of the red areas that we want to start building in. And then I got a little bit of black on my brush, and then I just kind of like stroke in where I want some of the darkness to be. And then I use that same brush to kind of blend it as I was going so that it wouldn't just become like a smush of color. It would just kind of have some streaky, like cloudy vibes to it. Okay, so now that I'm switching brushes, I want to still build more because I want this to be a lot darker, and I want to have more bright red and go into more bright orange and then really like pop this yellow. So I want to put in more, I want to say more definitely like where I want this horizon to live. So with my medium sized brush, I'm just like wetting it a little bit because again, my bristles are really hard. And I'm going to get a little bit of black, and I want some of that orange. Oh, it's black just is like, it takes over everything. So whatever amount you think you should use of black, use a quarter of that. And then keep adding little bits if you want it a little darker, because black will just be black and then you can't have like a darker color. Like black just takes over. Okay, so I got it to like kind of like this like murky color, and I'm going to put in where I want this horizon to be. And again, it's not going to be super straight. I'm literally just like, you're seeing what I'm doing, so I'm not measuring it, I'm not using a ruler, I'm just like eyeballing it. So you can be, if you're more of a precise person and you want to make sure this is like a perfectly straight line, go for it. Grab something straight and use that as a better guide. I don't really worry about that too much, which might be a fault, but eh. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop that in. Okay, and then I want to just start bringing it up. Still need more of that color. Okay, so I'm gonna bring it up. And when I say bring it up, is I'm just like smushing my brush into the canvas. It's still pretty wet, and I'm just letting, I'm almost like cleaning my brush on the canvas essentially. Like I'm just like smushing it up. Okay. I do want, I'm just putting some yellow just to blend it a little bit. So I'm just getting a little bit of yellow and I'm just touching some of that just to soften it and just to bring it down into it. And that just softens it, because when you just smush it in, you get like, you really see the texture of the canvas. And if you don't want that, you can just get like a little bit of yellow, put it on top of where that area you don't like, and then just kind of bring it down slightly into what you just did. And then you'll kind of erase those like canvas lines. I want it to be a little smoother. I don't want it to be like, I don't really want to see the canvas pattern too much. Okay. If you put too much water, you'll end up like, I was gonna say erasing it, but like the water will kind of like pull off some of the paint. I need more yellow already on my palette. It might be Nancy. Nancy was saying that the brush looks like the stiffer brush you'd use for oils. It might be. I've never used oils because they terrify me. I'm so scared of like messing it up that I haven't delved into that pool yet. I really want to. I have a really nice oil set that my husband bought for me a long time ago. But I'm too scared. Like I'm scared of like how you use like different things, like you have to use like turpentine or stuff. I don't even know. It feels very overwhelming, and I'm like, water and paint, that sounds good. And that's why I've just stuck with acrylic the whole time. Like, yeah, water and paint, I can do that. Although acrylic's interesting because acrylic like is straightforward, but it can be a pain in the butt. Like such a pain in the butt. Okay, I'm gonna start putting a little bit of red into what I'm doing because I want it to be, I want to bring that red and make it pop. So I'm going back and forth, getting a little red, wetting my brush a little bit. I just want to bring some red up from that brown murky zone. Okay. So just kind of blended that. I used some of that dark color I made just to go back over the red to blend it together. And I'm just pulling some of that darker color into that red. So it kind of just blends it a bit. It kind of almost looks like a mountainish. Has kind of that feel to it right now. Okay, I'm going to do the same on the other side. Just put some red. Because what strikes me about this painting is the vibrancy of the colors, like the reds and the oranges, and I really want that to come through. This brown's just murking up my red. It's okay, I guess on this side's a little bit murkier anyways, but it's fine. I'm just gonna bring it up a little bit. So what I want is like the sun's gonna end up being about here. So it kind of almost shows like a V shape in the actual photo of the colors, so I want to kind of create that as I'm going up. And again, I do a lot of like dry brush and I like smush my colors in, and that's how I get some of the techniques that you see. Okay, I want to get more of an orange going. So I'm going to mix some yellow and my red together. If you have orange ready to go, use that if you'd like to. Because sometimes this is annoying when you mix your own colors going. So I want to just add it in here, but I need some more red to make this a blend. So I put some brighter red and I'm just going to bring this up. Okay. Okay, so again, when you are painting with this, you want to kind of stay where you are. So like if you're putting a color on, you want to keep that color where it is. You want to stay true to that area. If you pull it too far into somewhere that's already wet, it's going to take over that wet area. So you want to try and stay in that vicinity as much as you can until you hardly have anything on your paintbrush, or use your paper towel to make it more of a dry brush. And then you can blend it in a little bit easier. And then alternately, you can always get like the color that you're blending into back on your brush and then bring it up. Just because like with acrylic, especially when it's wet, it can weirdly take over. I'm just putting a little bit of yellow back on my brush, and I'm going to start just softening some of these edges. So my brush is very dry, and I'm just going to put in some yellow in here to soften some of these edges. My canvas is pretty much like fully dry because of this fan in the room. Okay. Make sure you guys are okay. Ooh, Janie, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Janie is saying there's water-based oils now from Windsor Newton. That's awesome. I'll check it out. Okay, that doesn't sound as scary. We'll see. It's still scary to me. Oh, and thank you, Nancy. I appreciate that. I'm hoping you guys are still okay and following along okay. The hardest part about doing these virtual sessions is that not being in the same room, it's hard like for me to stop and recognize when people need help. I talk like I've done in-person sessions, and I absolutely have not. But I've definitely done lots of like trainings and like different types of things, not for painting. So I'm using that as a reference, but it's hard to like not see your faces and be able to hear the expressions, and you know, 'cause I'm sure there's better ways that I could be of assistance and help you guys. So I'm hoping this works. What I'm doing is on some of my areas that I had done previously, and I had smushed in some of that orangey color, I'm going over with yellow, and I'm just softening some of those lines. Like I said, I don't really like too much to see the texture of my canvas in my painting. I like it to be a bit more smooth, like with the paint. So that's what I tend to do. I kind of smush other colors on top, and the more layers you have, the less you'll see the texture of your canvas. At the same time, if you have like really, really thick coats of acrylic on here, that can be challenging as well. So I'm just kind of going through and just putting in some yellow, like I said. So I'm just doing that wherever areas I think are necessary. I kind of did that top part, and I don't think I really want to touch it too much. Like I think if I touch it, I'm gonna kind of ruin some of that misty cloud vibe. But I still want to touch up a little bit, so I'm gonna, because I can't help myself, I'm gonna go in with the yellow again and just like smooth some of the lines over. Whenever you're painting too, like remember your scene continues off your canvas, so just be cautious that you're not like stopping your brush strokes like just before the edge. Like bring them off so it looks more realistic, looks more continuous. Okay, good. Thanks, Deborah. Oh, perfect. You weren't talking to me. You were talking to the other person. Never mind. That's what happens when like I'm trying to keep in touch with the comments and I miss things. That's okay. All right, I'll just keep going. I'm putting some more yellow, making some of these lines a bit smoother. Okay, cool. So I'm just like picking up yellow like every time I'm putting my brush down, and I'm starting to just like create that brighter yellow area in the painting, and I want this to not be really uniform. I have a tendency when I'm painting that my strokes end up being the same length or thickness. So I get into like a vibe and I have to be cautious that it doesn't look super uniform, because it doesn't look natural. Natural world, it's not really like that when you look at things. So when I'm adding this, again, my canvas is pretty much dry, so whenever I put the yellow, it stays. If it was wet, it would pick up whatever paint was underneath it, and it would blend into it, and that may not necessarily be what you would want. It will not, the yellow won't show up as much because it will turn orange. So if you want whatever color you're doing to really stick out, make sure the canvas below it is dry. Alternately, if you're trying to put something and you really want the color to pop, you can always go in and put in white, let that dry, and then add the color on top of that, and that will help as well to make whatever color you're adding pop. So I'm just putting in some like little lines of that yellow because I think that looks really cool. I do want to, this is a bit weird, I want to smush that up a little bit more. So I'm going to try to make an orange again with my yellow and my red. Kind of looks peachy. So all my paints are from Dollarama, and sometimes they are colors that work, and sometimes there's obviously weird tints and stuff in it that make it a little funky. So I just put this orange I just made, which is it's alright, I guess. Just gonna wet my brush a little bit and wet the paint a little bit, make it a little smoother, and then just gonna bring up this orangey color upwards and like smush it in as I go. Like that. Yeah, it's not really following that too much. I'm kind of veering off a little bit. Okay, let's try and smear some more of this orange in here. Okay, and then this will kind of make the sky look that streaky, cloudy kind of thing when you kind of put like a random color onto it. I shouldn't say random, like if you put purple it would look kind of weird, but so smushing that color. So like, see how it's already kind of has this like cloudy vibe? Okay, cool. Man, I'm gonna probably touch that a little bit. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I need more yellow again. I've used a lot of yellow on this session. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna make kind of like an orangey color, and then with my yellow and my red, and then I'm gonna add like the smallest amount of black to it, just to get like it to be a little grayish. Just darken it up a little bit. We'll see if this color works the way I want it to. I don't know if you can see that color. Not really. It kind of just looks gray on my brush. That's fine. Okay. So some of these streaks here. So there's some clouds that are kind of coming, and they're kind of like more like this way, like they kind of streak in. Okay. So I'm gonna pop those in. Okay, and right now, again, it's not the way it's going to end up. It's just, I'm just going to pop them in so I know where I want this to go, and I'm going to blend it after. So I want to get this color onto the canvas in kind of the direction that I want it to be. Okay, now I'm going to get my yellow. I'm going to go over it and smush it in. I get like a big blob of yellow on there, and I go around that dark spot I just put on, over it, and then just kind of smush it in. And I should take my own advice, go off the canvas. Okay, so I want to keep that brighter, and I just go over it. And I want, so I'm just going to keep doing that over all of this. So yellow, and then, and I didn't clean my brush before I went to the yellow. I just made it dry, so it picks up the yellow really nicely. But then as I'm smushing, there's still, that other color is still there, so I can still grab some of it from my paintbrush as I'm going. Some of that darker color is coming through nicely. Realizing my head's not in the way. Okay, good. I thought my head, I was tilting quite a bit with my head. I was like, uh-oh. Maybe all you see is my head. But we're okay. Let's smush this guy around. So again, we're not gonna try to copy the picture exactly bang on, right? So we just want that vibe, we want that feeling, we want that emotion, I guess, whatever the painting evokes in you. So there's obviously like some darkness going on. We're gonna have that branch on top too, so keep that in mind. That's gonna cover up a lot of this, but we still want it to have a nice vibe in the background before we put that branch on. I'm just getting yellow now and just going over some spots just to keep this like streaky vibe going. This is a very bright. I don't really want it to be super dark because I want the branches really to pop when we put the black branches on. But I definitely want it to feel, I don't know if stormy is the right word, but something going on in the background. It's kind of, so it has like a cloud vibe to it with these colors, which is good. Because I do not consider myself that great at clouds. Although I have to say I've been redeeming myself in the last couple weeks, which is nice. I find it works really well when you stop thinking about, for me anyways, stop thinking about what it is, what the actual image is. So when I start thinking like, oh, I'm making clouds, or oh, I'm gonna draw a tree, like I find that's when I make it look really bad. It works better for me to think of just the color and the shape. So really just focus on like, okay, like there's like color going in kind of this like flowy direction. Let me just get this color in this flowy direction on here. Okay, there's a shape that looks like this. Let me just get this curve, because there's a curve. So don't look at it as like, when we do the bench, don't look at it as a bench, look at it as like some lines and some curves. And for me, I find that helps, because when I think about it being a bench and I start putting some lines down and it does not look right, then I get very frustrated. So I think I might be almost done with the sky. I'm trying to think if where else I want to touch up a bit. Well, obviously I still have to put the sun in, but we'll do that in a little bit. I do see a lot of my canvas below here, and I kind of want to darken this up a little bit. So I think I'm going to do that. I just have some yellow on my brush, so I'm just going to smush it in here. Yeah, that works. Hey, Asif. Thanks for joining today. I will, yes, that's right. I know you had asked that before. Oh, I did, however, also Asif, I did get my videos from Facebook, and I am loading them onto YouTube. So there'll be a new video will be on there every day until I think July 28th or something. So everything will be on there on my YouTube channel. Steve held me accountable last week to make sure I put stuff on there. But everything is on. If you want to see previous videos as of right now, you can go into the YouTube channel and then you'll be able to grab them. But not all of them will be there right away, so they'll all be on there by the end of July. All my videos will also be on my YouTube channel. It's the same video as from my Facebook lives, so nothing else with that. But if you want to see anything prior to that and you want to just go on Facebook and check it out, if you just go on to the videos tab, all of the videos, all the lives are still there, so you can grab them all from there. You can watch them at your convenience. Everything's left there for free. So if there's another tutorial or another painting you guys want to check out, please do so. Oh yeah, I just mixed the color and I'm not showing. So again, my palette, that's why I don't really show my colors, because my palette's a big mess. But I just mixed yellow and red, and I put a couple drops of black in it, so I have this like mix color here, and I'm gonna use it just to darken my horizon line, because I don't like that I can still see my canvas through it. So I'm just gonna darken it. It's basically a brown is what I made. And I want it to be a bit darker, so I'm probably gonna add a little more, but I'm just gonna bring up this color. I don't like seeing my canvas through it. That sticker, I like that, so it's more opaque. You can't really see the lines of the canvas in there, but it's a little bit, yeah. So I'm doing exactly what I did before, only this is like a new layer on top. So now I'm getting the red and I'm just putting it on top of that brownish color that I just made. So when I say on top, it's like I kind of follow the line of the brown to keep my red really strong. Keep that strong red on top there, and then I just bring that red down into my weird brown color I made. And then in this like little bucket here, I want it to be more red, because I want my sun to sit in this pool of bright red paint, which just gave me some gory images, but that's not what we're doing here. Okay. Alright. That's a weird visual. Okay. Yeah, so I like that more. I think that's better. And I do want it to be just a touch darker. I'm gonna go with black. We'll see how that goes. I want this horizon line to be darker. So I just put some black on my brush, and then I'm just touching my horizon line with it. I'm gonna bring it across, and then I'm gonna blend that in. I just feel like that brown is just too bright. And I don't want this black to be super opaque. I'm gonna blend it into my brown. I just need my brown to be a little bit darker. So I just put a little bit of black in. I'm putting a little bit of water on my brush, and now I'm just gonna blend that kind of smear of black, and then bring it up slightly into the other colors I just made. Okay, I'm going a little bit higher on the sides. Trying to. I kind of forgot on that side, didn't I? So a little bit more black. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. That's cool. I like it. This is working nicely. Aw, thanks, Asif. I love you too. Asif's been coming to quite a few of ours paint parties, so very nice. Oh yeah, I have coffee. I need to have a sip of this. It's probably cold. Oh yeah, super cold. That's fine. All right, where are we at? Okay, cool. So this to me is like, this is like the show-stopping piece of this painting, like how beautiful the sky is. And I find this is really, which it took us about like 40 minutes to construct it. So that makes sense to me. Like, I think that's gonna take the longest. The water's gonna be a bit too, but it's not as, I don't know, it will take a little bit too. It's still gonna look really nice too. We're gonna work on that next to get that going. But the tree and the bench, they're gonna look great, and it will take time to do that as well, but they kind of allow everything else to stand out really nicely. So let's now, I'm gonna leave, do I want to leave the sun? I do. I'm gonna leave the sun right now, and I'm gonna start working on the water, and then I'll go back to the sun afterwards. I kind of want it, I want to move away from that for right now. Okay, so we're gonna do kind of the same technique that we did at the top, which is we're going to put water on the bottom half of here. So use your water, and we're just going to wet your canvas. We are painting water after all. Might as well use water to get this started. Okay. You don't want it to be soaking. Maybe I do actually, because it's super dry so fast today. But yeah, you don't want it to be like super soaked, but we do want it to be wet. Okay, there we go. Okay, and I'm needing more yellow. So this is very orangey in the picture. So I'm gonna start again with my yellow, and I'm just going to plop it in just to get coverage on the bottom. I might take a dab of red just for funsies and blend it in as I go. You know what? I am gonna do that. Why not? So yeah, so do a lot of yellow, get it on here. I'm not cleaning my brush in between it. I'm just going for it. And then when I drop a little bit of red, oh my god, my apologies. Okay, so I'm just putting some yellow, just bringing it up to my horizon line. If it goes over it, it's fine. We can touch it up again after. I'm not too concerned about that. Okay. Let's keep going with my yellow. I'm gonna get another drop of red. And I'm gonna get more yellow to blend that red out. My canvas again is already dry. Hilarious. I'm gonna put a little bit of water on top. But you'll see when I do the water on top, it really does blend everything, and it kind of all becomes like orange. You lose some of that definition, and it thins it out. So it's not going to be as opaque on your canvas. So I definitely will want to put another coat or two on here to get some value. What is that? That's not good. Okay. Alright. So just by adding, so putting that yellow and then adding those little spots of that red, it kind of already has this like smeary effect to it. We do want it to be mostly yellow wherever your sun's gonna be. So I shouldn't really have put that red right down that center. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of more yellow to kind of give a proper reflection of where that's gonna be. I don't want red down that center down this center lane. This needs to be yellow. Yellow, it's brighter, it's prettier. Let's get a little bit of white, actually, just to brighten it up. Okay. So I just like popped in some brighter colors just to make it pop out a little bit more. Okay, and I do want it more orangey on the sides, so I'm gonna get more red and some yellow. Okay, and so similar to the sky, I'm gonna get my red and my yellow, and I'm gonna start putting some darker colors on the sides here. If your canvas is still wet, this will be a lot easier because it will blend pretty much as soon as you touch the canvas. It'll blend. Mine is not blending because the canvas is dry already. So I'm gonna have to add some more yellow to give me what I want. And I'm kind of blending right on my canvas. Bring it right up to the horizon line. And I'm just going now in a horizontal motion, because that will already start making it feel more like water as I do that. Okay, I think I'm okay with that for now. I do want more yellow. I'm putting a little bit of yellow on here just to smooth out the ending line of that orange that I made. Okay. Cool. And then I'm also going to do the same thing, like put this kind of orangey color on this side as well. To center your canvas in the camera view. Left side is off camera. Left side. Okay. So my left is this is my left here. So I'm going to do this. So on my screen, it is centered. I know someone had said because I'm filming on portrait, so if you have your phone in landscape, sometimes that's an issue. I don't know if that would correct it or not. And I'm not zoomed in. I'm just gonna double check. No, I'm not zoomed in. Okay. Yeah, sometimes when I zoom into it, like messes up your ability to see everything. So hopefully that helped a bit. I'm just gonna put in that orange down here. And then I want to get yellow. Smack myself in the face with my long paintbrush handle. Oh my goodness. Okay. And I'm just putting yellow into this orangey color just to soften it and blend it out a bit more. And I tried for this side to kind of start it and kind of come out. It still kind of made it like a straight line. Not really what I wanted to do, but that's okay. We'll go with it. There's just a bit more stuff here anyways. That should be alright. Just want to get up to this horizon line and just more orangey. Okay, so I'm just going to clean off that brush and I'm going to use my medium. I'm going to move to the medium one, just have a bit more control. So Janie says it's in the center of her screen, and Michelle says she can see it fine. And Karen's saying that the right side. So it's this side that was being kind of weird to you, Karen. So I'm not sure. I think it's the way the angle. Someone else had said, like I said, the same thing. But it's some, I don't know why it does that for some people and why it doesn't do it for others. I'm not sure. But it is centered on my screen right now. The way I'm filming, so again, I don't know the best way to fix it, because I think everyone else, like those other two, said that they could see it okay. And I know when I film it and I watch it back, it's fine, so I'm not sure. I'll have to do some Facebook digging and see why that happens, so I could be more of a help. Okay, so I'm gonna do back to my medium brush, because I want to touch a little bit more into this area before I'm done with this. I need more yellow again. Yellow is the color today. Obviously, right? Obviously. Let me have another sip of my cold coffee. Which is still very delicious. Okay. Now I have some of that kind of brownish color that I had from before. I want to add a little bit of that. So the one I showed you, like I put red and I put yellow and then I put like a touch of black in it. And that's what helped me create some of this. So I have some of that still, and I want to use some of that just at the bottom, just to bring in a little more depth. So I'm just going to put in some lines, and then I'm going to play with that in a bit. Okay. I'm just going to add these lines. They look weird right now, as they should. Because that would be kind of weird just to leave them there. Okay. And you'll see, so I started, I had more of a thicker line on my brush, and then as I went on, there's less paint on my brush, but I'm still going, and I'm just touching my textured canvas, and it's kind of grabbing on a little bit of the paint that's there, and that's what I want to do. I'm going to get some yellow, and now I'm just going to blend it a bit. You know what, actually I want to use more of an orange, so I'm going to make kind of that orange I just did from before, because that makes more sense. If I do yellow, it's going to, okay, so I'm just going to make sure it goes off my canvas too, so it doesn't just stop randomly. So I'm going to use some of that orange. So I'm putting it kind of in the spaces. I'm going to use a little bit of yellow because I don't want it to be just orange. Okay, so I'm going to go back and use some of that orange. So I'm starting kind of in the orangey spaces, and then I'm like smushing it into the brown. Okay, and then I might use a little bit of yellow just to brighten it up, because when I'm doing that, it does kind of all blend together, and I don't want to lose the different lines that I've created here. I still want it to be like kind of a little streakiness, have some depth to this water. So I already had, so by doing that, you can see already like there's a bit more texture to it. And it's a little darker near the front here, but we still have this highlight down the center, which I want to keep. I do want to darken it slightly. So I'm going to put in a bit of yellow to keep that kind of going. Okay, cool. So now I have, so that's better, I like that. I think that's working nicely. Okay, cool. So I think I want to go to my fine brush now. I don't know. No, I think I'm gonna still play with this brush a little bit. So in the photo, there's a little bit of that darker color is on the sides here too. So I'm gonna put a little bit of that in there. I'm just gonna be a little cautious because I don't want to bring it. I don't want to make everything really dark. I just want to add like a little touch of this like shadow kind of highlight. And I want it just to touch a bit here. So same thing I did below. So I'm just getting that kind of brown color on my brush. Oh, it's weird on this side, my angle on the I feel like it's not gonna work the same way. So I feel a little constricted with my canvas being where it's at, so I want to make sure you can see what I'm doing. But I want you to be moving your canvas so that it's the most comfortable way for you to paint on it. So please make sure that you are spinning your canvas around, hold it upside down, do whatever you need to do. You know what feels right. So if it feels awkward in your hand or it feels awkward the way it's going, then move it. And don't be shy about that, because that's going to help get what you want on your world. Okay, so I think I'm good with that for now. Okay. I want to just put in a few like orangey. So again, it's kind of like not really an orange. It should be an orangey, but I don't know if it's gonna turn out. So I just want to get a little bit. You can almost not even see the difference of what I'm doing here, but I've just mixed orange with my red and my yellow, and then I'm just putting in a few lines of it in this darker area. Again, just to keep building the color and to blend it a bit. I'm trying to make sure I go off the canvas, because the water continues off the canvas without looking weird. Okay, so that's good. Okay, and I want to get some orange. Okay, got my orange. I'm going to get more yellow on my same brush. I'm not cleaning my brush. I'll just put some yellow onto it now. So it's yellow, but again, my brush has not been cleaned, so it still has some of that other color that I had before, and I'm just gonna continue putting these little strokes in. And that's a little much. See, on this side I don't have the same control over it. That's the way my hand is. Trying to get some of that darkness back. Okay. So again, like what I'm doing is like I'm trying to bring some of that darkness in towards the middle, and I'm just using what's on my paintbrush. So like I just kind of squish it, and like there's some, you can see it on the paintbrush, like you'll see like on the base there's like tons of paint that still lives there, and I'm using some of that to bring in some of that depth. So I want to bring it in a little bit in here, but I don't want to make it super dark. Ah! My brush is very dry as I'm doing this. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna wipe my brush on the paper towel. I'm not gonna put water on it. I'm just gonna kind of take this darker color off, but I don't want it to be wet when I do this next part. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little bit of white on my brush. So So I want this to be brighter, so I want it to start small, and then I want it to come out. Give it a nice highlight. Okay, and putting the white like that, it'll just make it pop a little bit. I found when I was doing it, I was pushing harder on this side, so I have like some nice like white spots on the side, so I'm just going back in and just adding a little like pressure of white on the other side, just so it has a bit of balance. It just looked kind of weird to me. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go in with yellow now and kind of do the same. Ah, that's too much. Okay, that was a little crazy. That's okay, we'll make it work. Again, the great thing about acrylic is that if it really sucks and you really hate it, you can just wait till it dries, paint over it, and you can start again. So don't worry. Have fun with it. Enjoy. Do what feels good. This should always be fun. You should be able to play with it and enjoy it. It shouldn't be stressful. And if something happens a little bit crazy, let's just work with it and we'll make it look good. It's all good. Look, it's like a nice reflection, and there's no sun yet. Looks kind of weird. We'll get that done in a moment. But yeah, okay, I'm digging it. I think I'm gonna leave it like that. I don't think I want to touch more on it. Sometimes what I like to do is I like to go with a fine brush and put in some more definition of the water. You may want to do that. It's really up to you. I think for me, for this one, I'm going to keep it as is. I'm liking the way the water looks. I like the way this feels, so I'm going to keep that as is. So I'm going to just wash off my brush that I've been using while I think about what my next step is going to be. I think I want to pop in my sun, and then we will play with everything in the foreground. How we want this tree and what we want this bench and what we want to do with all of that. Okay, so for my sun, I'm going to use, oof, that's really fine. Yeah, I'm going to use my fine brush. I actually, this is a 3. This is a really cool brush. It has like a finger grips, like you can hold like a pencil. It's super cool. I got it on Amazon. There's like a pack of a bunch of like fine pointed brushes. I think it was only like 12 or 15 bucks Canadian, so I thought it was pretty worth it. Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna be using. Sorry, I had another sip of coffee. All right, so this sun is going to be about here. So usually you kind of put in your sun first, then you put your reflection, I suppose, but I like to do things backwards. So I'm gonna put in my sun is gonna be here, and then it's going to be here. It's not gonna go into my yellow. It stays in this like brown and red zone. That's where it stays in this picture, which is kind of cool, kind of different. I'm gonna block it in white. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna get my paintbrush and put some water on it. And I'm going to get white on my paintbrush, and I'm just gonna water it down a little bit just so that the paint is like ink, and so it will allow me to like draw in my sun easier. I'm also going to make it smaller than what I initially want because it's easier to fatten it up than to make it smaller once you are painting on top of something. Okay, so I want it to live about like there-ish. Okay, and then it's gonna come out. Kind of like that. Oh, actually, you know what? That might be a good size for it. Yeah, and sometimes you make things smaller and you're like, oh, actually, that's the size it should be. Ah! And then you touch it weirdly and then it is weird. Okay. Okay, let's just bring that out. And then stop touching it. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna let that sit for a moment or two. Just gonna wash off that paintbrush, and then I want it to be yellow, but I just wanted the white first. So I have yellow on my paintbrush now, and I'm just going to go over my white with my yellow. And it will blend in a little bit, and that's fine. But the yellow is pretty much going to take over it anyways. Okay, so I'm just going to fill it in. I think that's good. Yeah, I think that is okay. I might go in after and add some lines just on top there. You know what, I might do that now actually. Might get a little bit of yellow. I'm just gonna play with this. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm just gonna try it and see what happens. Add a little bit. And if this works, I'll kind of explain it better what I'm doing. Yeah, so I think that's good. So I'm just putting in a little bit of, bringing that yellow down a little bit into this like red zone with my fine brush. I'm just putting yellow paint. I'm just kind of making it mimic this like weird streaky cloud kind of thing that's going on at the top. I think it's working all right. It's kind of give it a little bit of a boost. Well, that's okay. I'm being picky because I don't like the dots or the canvas to show. But that's alright. Okay, cool. I think that's good, and I think I want to put one more in just here. A little streakiness. That's good. And then get some of that orange and just blend it a little bit. Nope. That made it too yellow. Okay. Still very bright. Again, I'm just being picky on those lines, so I'm just going over with like a darker color just to soften it a little bit. Kind of now I'm going a little bit rampant because I put too much in this. Now I have to blend it into the red. Okay, I'm gonna stop because I'm just gonna keep going. Although it kind of looks cool. Maybe I'll do it on the other side. Anyways, cool. We're good. Next up. Yes. So Steve's saying that he'd like more close instructions of like what, how I'm blending it. And it's a little tricky. I feel like I would need like a camera on there just to show you, and like I said, I haven't really done that. I'm not sure how to manipulate Facebook Live to like allow me to do that and show you guys that. Okay, so there we go. Cool. Oh, thank you, Jen. Thanks so much. Yeah. I'm really happy with it. I think the sky turned out really nice. Okay, so now so we've been painting now for just over an hour. So we've done the sky, we have the sea, so pretty much you have finished painting. So congratulations, we already got that going, which is nice. Now we're gonna complete it and put in our, the tree and the bench, and figure out how that's gonna all go. So I'm gonna get black. I wanna just put in my ground right away. Because that's going to be satisfying and that's going to break the seal of using your black paint. Because it's easy. It's always a little scary when you're using pure black on something that you already are like, oh, it's so pretty, and then you're like, ah, I'm gonna mess it up. So let's just start with something easy. Let's just put in this ground. So pure black paint, draw some kind of ground. My ground's gonna be in a little bit of an angle. Again, I'm trying to keep it similar to the original photo. Okay. My black paint, I did add a little bit of water just to try to make it more smooth as I'm painting. It's been a little tricky. Okay. I think I am gonna have to change this up a little bit because it's making me annoyed. I'm just going to bring this until it kind of comes off the page. I think that works out. Okay. I feel this is a little high on this side. I'm just gonna bring it a little higher all across because I feel like I made it a little bit high there. Doesn't have to be perfect because it is, again, ground. So ground can have bumps in it. There, I just put a bump in it. There's ground. There's a bump in it. That's how it works. Cool. This one actually, it did actually go all the way to the end. Okay, well then I guess maybe I'll do the same thing. There we go. There, okay, there's ground at the bottom. Yahoo! Alright, next up, let's put in, I'm gonna put in that big old branch. It's gonna go right across, and I'm gonna use this medium brush again. So again, I'm just going to get my black paint. I want to just wet it down a little bit so it's the consistency of ink, so it flows smoothly, but don't put a lot of water or else you might get streaks all the way down your painting, and that's not fun. Okay, so this branch kind of ends on this side here and it starts up here. So we want it to kind of come down. I'm just going to put in a line and then we'll thicken it and do whatever we want to do with it afterwards. Okay, so there's the branch. That's where it's going to live. Ta-da! Okay, so that's that. I'm going to switch over to my thinner brush because before I mess it up with my thick brush, that's kind of weird. But there's also another branch, a nice thick one, that kind of comes up here. Right? And then it's kind of like almost on the page the whole time, but like not. Kind of comes down a little bit. And it like disappears and then it comes back here. I'm gonna make it the whole corner, I think. There. Boom. Nice. Alright. Now I'm gonna switch over to a thinner brush, or even a medium brush that's not so hard. This, like I said, this brush is very hard bristles, and it's not really a friend of mine when I'm trying to get smooth, thin lines. So I'm going to switch over to a brush that's a bit softer and that is a little better with that. I'm going to try this one, I think. I think this one is good. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna try this one. This one's a bit, this is like this is softer bristles. This one doesn't have a name on or anything. I'm pretty sure it's from the dollar store. And it's just like a flat head, flat, and it's very soft bristles in comparison to the other one I was using. But it's also like, I would consider it kind of a more medium one as well. In relation, when I say medium or when I say like a large size brush, it's really in relation to whatever canvas you're using. If you're using, like I'm using an 11 by 14, so that's what I'm using my ratio on. If you're using like a huge one, then this is like super tiny. It's not going to do what you need it to do for this, right? So in relation to the canvas you're using. So I'm just gonna go in with this brush and fill in to make it thicker, and then just decide how thick I want the branches to be in general. This branches should be the thickest branch. So I am gonna thicken this up more than what I'm doing right now. As I'm thickening it, I'm keeping in mind that trees are not straight lines. They have curves, they have bumps, they have grooves. So make your branch have that same vibe. That's gonna make it look more realistic than if you have very straight lines on it. So it's actually great, because if you don't have a steady hand, it works to your advantage. Right? So you can get like little bumps and knots and stuff. It all works out. It's good. I'd say just watch so it's not super uniform, because I tend, again, to make it too similar everywhere I go. And I want it to be thinner down here, but like thicker, or at least the same width. It can't be thinner in the middle, essentially, right? Like the branches should go from thick wherever the trunk is of the tree, and then as it goes further away from the trunk, it gets thinner. So just try to use that as your, because this being thin like that right now looks a little bit weird. So I need to thicken this up. Okay, so it's thicker. I think it needs to be still a little thicker. I'm gonna bring it up like that. Yeah, so it's thicker and it has some points, but then it does go to be thinner here. I think this needs to be straighter. Sometimes when I go off the canvas, my brush curves and I don't like that. Okay, great. Okay, so let's just thicken these ones up too. Okay, and it comes down. Nice. I think that worked out okay. I don't think I need to do much more with that guy. Oh, now I do, because I kind of... Ta-da! Cool. I like it. Alright, so now we're going to add some more branches. So I'm going to have another one. There's another one that comes kind of down here, kind of goes down, and it brings it around. So I'm going to use this brush, thinner brush. Again, make sure my ink, or my black paint has water in it, so it's like ink. And then I'm going to bring it down like that, and then we're just going to fill it in as we need to. Okay, and I might change brush again, because now this one I feel like is a little thick now for this one. That's okay. I'm going to put in these thicker branches, and then I'm going to switch over to like a finer brush to have more control, because I'm a control freak. All right, and then we have another branch come in, and it makes a loop, not a loop, like a dip. There, boom. That's nice. And then there's a branch. Which way is that one coming from? I think it's coming from that guy. Oh well, I'll make this one first. And there's this one here. And then we have a thickle one. Some of those branches are kind of weird. I don't know if I'm going to make them all like in the picture, to be honest. I don't like it. Yeah, okay, we're good. I'm going to get my thinner brush, and then continue doing some details on this. I don't know what you said, AR, but I'm hoping you are enjoying this. Unfortunately, Google Translate is not working on my live, so I don't know Cool. Let me get it in a brush. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the one I was showing you before, my thin brush with like that could kind of hold on to. Wait, that one's like super thin. Okay, yeah, there we go. There we go. That one's a little thicker. Okay, so I'm just gonna get some water on my brush, wet it up again, get this black paint with water. So it's thin, it's fine. You don't want too much water because then you're going to want to go over some of your lines. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm going to play with some of these. Ooh. Okay. And similarly, I'm going to just thicken it up closer to wherever it should be, where it meets the tree or the, like the master branch, I guess, right? Okay. And again, I'm not going to do like all the little stems and stuff. We're just going to get that vibe of what this tree is like, right? So let's just put in some branches, however you so want. So we're just gonna like put in, pop them in. There's no wrong way really to do the branches, because again, a tree can have branches any which way. So this is where you can do whatever you want and have fun with that. I like that guy. That guy looks good. And then another branch that kind of comes across that a little bit. And there are some branches that like are part of the tree and you just can't see where they live from, right? Because like it's off the side of the page. There's another one that comes this way. Oof, I need some more paint on that brush, guy. Holy. Okay. And this is, I think, where everything really comes to life and starts to pop when you start putting this in. So if you're scared of like putting that black on here, just do it. You won't regret it. And if you do, you can just redo it by starting over. That wouldn't be very good. I have to tell myself like not to make all my branches look the same, because I have a tendency to make them all very like sweeping and like very similar. So I'm gonna try to make some of them look kind of weird. And I kind of do want them to look a little scraggly. I like that vibe. That one comes off the page that way. Yeah. Okay. Just gonna darken up this branch a bit because it's very light. Okay. Oh. It's okay. Crisis averted. Oh. There you go. Just made it look even weirder right there. That's fine. Oh my gosh. Okay. I guess I should be holding this with my other hand, I suppose. I want some like... This tree has some weird like little things going on, so let's do that. There you go. That's creepy and weird. Okay, so you can go as detailed as you want with this tree. You can go real. You can spend the rest of your day really adding little branches if you want all over the place. You can put like a little bird if you want. I might do that. I don't know. We'll see. I might do that actually. I kind of think that's a cute idea. I want this to be a bit thicker. That's a lot of water. Oh my. If you put a little bit too much water, you can grab some paper towel and just dab the area. This is going to prevent it from going down, but it will look kind of weird and not so great. But that's okay, because we're going to improvise and fix it. But we're not going to do the same thing. Make sure there's not a lot of water on there. Oh my. There we go. Let's put some more branches there. Okay. Where else do we want to put some more? I think I might almost call this a day. I feel like this needs to go a bit further because it's very thick. Yeah, just do that. Looks better. This tree has some weird, like, things to it. Okay, cool. So yeah, so just keep going until you decide you want to stop, essentially. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna leave that, I think. Now I'm trying to think. I don't know if I did that. So in the picture, our lovely bench, or our swing, I should say, because it is attached to this tree, is, let me just show you. So our bench is, so this branch is a lot straighter right here. So it's pretty straight. And then we have the ropes that hold the bench right on it. And the way I painted mine is I didn't really give it, I made it quite curvy. So, I don't know how I'm gonna make this work exactly. So I think it might look a little bit funky. But we're going to try anyways. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Maybe we'll just have it, I'll just hook it up a bit higher up on the tree. And that's not a big deal. I think I'm gonna like set in where I want the bench to go. And then I'll add in the ropes at the end. I don't think I'm gonna worry about the ropes or the chain or whatever it is that's holding it in place. Once I put in the bench, I might decide to make that branch a bit thicker, depending. If I feel like it doesn't make sense, then I might do that. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, now let's put in our bench. Let's think about where we want the bench and how we're gonna put that in. Oh my, it got like super hot now. It's like the sun started shining in the window. It does make sense. It's usually on this side this time, but I thought I would have a little bit more time. Let's see if I can kind of close that off a little bit. Okay, there we go. True. So Blanche is saying rope swing. That's true. That could work too. We could put a swing instead. That's true. Or we could do a park bench or a tire. I love it. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Yeah. So we could totally change it up at this point. So you're right. We could like instead, actually a tire could work. Because we could like, that would be easy. Like it just hangs and there's like a tire. That could work. I do wanna try to make that bench. I don't know why. I feel like I'm gonna mess it up because there's like so many lines in it. But I think I still wanna try and see if I can get that done. But you're right, it could just end up being a park bench instead of being a swing. Anywho, I think yeah, I'm gonna still put the bench in here and then we'll decide whether it's swinging or not. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Okay, great. So let's, which brush am I gonna use? Am I gonna go with a thin brush right off the hop? Yeah, I think so. Okay, so I'm gonna use my thinner brush, the one I was using for all my lovely branches. I'm still gonna get my black paint. I'm gonna have a little bit of water just so it's easy for me to figure out the lines of it, of where I want it to be. I'm gonna try to stay true to the picture, so I'm gonna make it as similar as possible to that, but again, you can go rogue, as some of you guys suggested, and put something else in there if you so desire. That is totally, that works. I know, I'm kind of like, that would be kind of fun. No, I'm gonna do it. Okay, so let's get the line in. So I'm gonna have, so the line goes pretty straight. I think I need to fix my ground a little bit. My ground's pretty bumpy. And where is it gonna go to? The bench is gonna go to about there, I think. I'm gonna touch up my ground a bit. I wanna make this ground a little bit more even to where my bench lives. I want it to be a bit bigger than that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna make it like that size there. It's kind of, yeah, that works. Okay. So this is just thicken that up a bit to make it the base of my bench. Yep. And then I think I want to pop in the lines that kind of hold all the slats together. I'm going to do that now just to give me a guide to work with. So there is, where are we going? Okay, so it's going to come out like that, but we're gonna have a line here. Okay, so we're gonna have another line because there's a piece of wood that holds all of these. Oh my, this is the problem. It's gonna come across this way. I'm just gonna fix up my line. Sorry guys, I'm gonna have to move it because I can't make these straight lines. I'm tilting my painting around so I can have a bit more control. So I'm going to try to make this line parallel to the last line I just did. And about, it's going to end up being as thick, even though I wanted it thinner, but okay. We're going to do one more of these lines. I'm going to try to make it a little thinner, but we'll see. It's going to be a bit higher up. Try to this, it might end up being solid back if I don't like these lines, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I'm gonna make it go up here. There. Okay. A little off, but that's all right. Okay. Okay, so that line is a little bit, what's going to be the best way for me to draw it? Let me think. So this first is going to come up here. It's going to come down. So this is like the first like slat of the back of this. Oh my god. Okay. There we go. It's so awkward on my hand. Okay. And then we need, there's like the little armrest. Where does that armrest live? It lives just above and it goes out, like kind of like an L shape. Okay. And this is going to follow the same trajectory at the bottom. Then it's going to come up like this. And then there's another one that comes up like this. Okay. Cool. Okay, so now we're going to put in all the like slats, I guess, for the back of this swing. Okay, let me think. I might have to get a little closer to me just so I can, so I'm not like fully in your space, but okay, so now let's put in another line and we'll thicken it up as we go. That line looks weird. Yeah, that looks weird. There we go. This bench might be a little poorly constructed. I'm going to pop this in, and then I think I'm going to go back with like a thinner brush and clean up some of these lines because it doesn't look right. Oh yeah, my lines are getting all over the place. Okay, they're not staying on a right angle. Let me think. How do I want to continue this? Should have went with a tire. That's what I should have done. I'm gonna switch to a thinner brush. See if that helps. I don't know if it's going to because I've already kind of messed up my angles a bit. should pop these in first. Okay. There's my misshapen bench. So my mistakes that I made was definitely that my angles here ended up going way too straight. Oops. So to keep it, so as you're going, try to keep it in a nice angle the whole way. So hopefully if you have your painting flat down and you have a bit more control over it, then you can make sure all of those lines stay more of a slight angle, and that will look much better than what I just did. But I'm going to bank on how beautiful my sky and my water is. And then we can just kind of ignore my bad lines. I'm good at like organic, but like straight lines are like, that's not my strength. Okay, but I am gonna try and touch this up a little bit because I'm gonna just make these a little taller and see if I can salvage it a little more. We'll see. Okay, so that makes it all the same about above that line. And just make this a bit thicker. Okay, it's definitely wobbly, and maybe I'll just okay. Hey, Marion. Yeah, no worries. You can definitely do it tomorrow for sure. It will be available on the videos page, so go for it. All right, so now it's a matter of if we want to have this strung up or whether we want to keep it a park bench. It's up to you how you want to do yours. Like I do kind of want to string it up to the tree, although I don't know. I don't know if I want to fully yet, or if I just want to make it like a full-on bench. I mean, granted, we named it like, you know, Sunset Swing, so I feel a little odd for it not to be a swing. But I think I am just going to put some legs and plant it down. That's what I'm going to do with mine, because I don't know, to be honest, I don't know if I really love it, and I might end up like painting over it. I'm not sure yet. So yeah, so I'm going to put some legs in. I'm actually going to bring this out a little bit. Make my ground a little bit thicker, a little bit further up. Don't make it look as weird. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna smooth it, and it's making me annoyed that it's not smooth. There you go. Cool. Oh my god, I'm gonna ruin it because I'm obsessed. Okay. It has some weird legs on it. Agreed, Michelle. Michelle says that would be way too heavy to hang from that branch anyways. I agree. That's what I'm going with. So I feel like it's gonna just look weird. So yeah, and I think the key component, I think, with connecting it was having it more of a sturdy, thicker branch, so having it more flat and straight. So I definitely missed the bar on that point, but yeah, we'll keep that going. So I don't know if I should put a leg on this side or not. I think I'm gonna leave it. We'll just pretend it goes a bit wider in it. It's like a wider one. I think the arm needs to come out a little bit more though. I'm gonna ruin it. I'm gonna have it curved, because why not? It's gonna come down here. Like that. Cool. And I feel like this should come out here. That line should come out there. And I think I need a thicker base on it. So it looks like there's no place to sit. Like, where's the seat? I feel like there should be more of a shadow. So I think I just need to thicken this up too. That makes more sense. Maybe even all the way up to that line, I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna thicken this all the way up actually. I feel like that makes more sense. Like, that's where the seat is. And then if I need to add another line or something to make it look better, I will, but I think that makes more sense. Yeah, to me that makes more sense. And then I think then that's better, I think. The line I just made has to be a bit thicker, but to match the top one. looks weird because it's very thin here and it's thicker up here, but that's okay. I think that's better. I said I wouldn't, but I am going to put in a foot there because I feel like it should be there. Okay, so happy enough with my bench. I think the bench looks a little bit funky, but that's okay. I think that is about it. So yeah, so I think that's it for today. There's no other components. If you want, like I was thinking too, you could probably add like a little shadow of like a little bird or something. That would look really cute. So I hope you guys enjoy that. The video will still be up on our Facebook page, so you'll be able to watch it. So if you didn't get a chance to follow along today, you can always jump on and like watch it at any time it's convenient for you. You can also share with anyone else who you think might be interested in joining in and painting their own version. So there is my completed, no longer sunset swing, but sunset bench on a lake. So I'll be changing that title around. But there we go. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please take a picture of your beautiful paintings and share it, because I'd love to take a look and see what you guys have done, especially if you change up different components of it. I'd like to see your benches too. Hopefully they look better than mine. You got those angles down a little better than I did. Any other ideas or tips or tricks, please always jump in and let us know. And that's it for today. So have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Again, next Tuesday we'll have 3 more options to choose from, and then on Saturday we'll paint the winner of the one with the most votes by Friday at noon, and we'll keep going from there. Alright guys, have a fantastic day. See you later. Bye. Thank you guys. Thanks guys.